Hello gamers, this is Sai and welcome back to Which Way Games. Now, what would you wish for if you saw a shooting star?
Buddy's back, right?
I wish for a box. Sweet! I wish to blow up. I mean, like, get big.
And with that being said, let's get on with the video. When it comes to the Sega Mega Drive, gamers will associate this great 16-bit console with Sonic the Hedgehog. The blue blur that captured the hearts of millions back in the 90s was some classic games of 16-bit goodness. Which, as some gamers know, I'm a huge fan of Sonic, ranging from the comics all the way to the video games. Now obviously the Sega Mega Drive has some other legendary games, such as Streets of Rage 2, Alien Soldier and Echo the Dolphin. But within the huge library of games available, there is one game that shares a history with Sonic. This would be Ristar, a fantastic game that was overlooked by gamers in the 90s, but has gained a bit of a following over the years. And with that in mind, let's go back to where it all started. Way back in the early 90s, Sega were going head to head with Nintendo, but unlike their rival, Sega didn't have an official mascot that could go up against Mario. They did try this with a cute spaceship called Opa Opa from Fantasy Zone, as well as Alex Kidd, but sadly these didn't catch on. Many ideas were brought to the table, including one where a rabbit could grab objects with its ears, but ultimately this idea was changed for a more momentum-based style of gameplay. Several more ideas came and went, including one of an armadillo, but Sega settled with a certain blue hedgehog, and the rest is history. Gamers got the fantastic Sonic the Hedgehog, and with the sequels changing the world of gaming forever, Sega never forgot about this game mechanic, nor the rabbit mascot that could have been. With the Sega Mega Drive nearing the end of its life, especially with the Sega Saturn on the way, Sega felt it right to finally make a game with a unique game mechanic thought of during Sonic's conception. However, Sega couldn't choose a rabbit to be the hero, as Sonic was now a superstar in the world of gaming. And so the rabbit from all those years ago began to evolve into a child from beyond the stars, complete with white gloves, fancy shoes and an attitude very similar to Sonic. With this, Ristar was born, but over the course of development this new game went through several name changes, such as Phil, Ristar the Shooting Star and Dexstar. Now Ristar was proposed to be the next big thing from Sega and potentially take over from Sonic as the poster boy for this legendary gaming company. But as gamers all over the world know, Sonic was a force that couldn't be stopped. However, this didn't stop Sega from promoting Ristar as much as possible. Also, with the Sega Saturn mere months away, Ristar could have been the start of a whole new franchise for Sega. And come mid-February 1995, Ristar was released worldwide for the Sega Mega Drive. And like always, let's go back to the past to see how Ristar was advertised.
Get ready to take on the greatest adventure yet. From the team behind the world famous Sonic the Hedgehog, play as Ristar as he's on a mission to save the universe. Grab enemies using Ristar's extendable arms. Explore vast worlds, each with bizarre and wonderful locations, before shooting off into space for the next mission. Don't miss out on an adventure that's literally out of this world.
The story of Ristar begins far, far away in a distant galaxy known as the Valdi system. The Valdi system has been under the protection of a shooting star and peace has been upheld for millennia. The small planet of Flora have worshipped the shooting star, where a legendary hero is rumoured to live within. Until one day, Kaiser Greedy plans to brainwash each planet within the Valdi system. Fearing that the legendary hero will stop his plans, Kaiser Greedy somehow manages to kidnap the shooting star and the inhabitants of planet Flora are at a loss. Fearing for their safety, they send a call for help and thankfully as luck would have it, it reaches the ears of Ristar. Can Ristar manage to rescue his father in time and stop the evil entity known as Kaiser Greedy? Gameplay has gamers controlling Ristar as he begins his epic journey in this fantastic game from Sega. gamers will be in control of the endearing star child known as Ristar, in this 2D scrolling platformer that differs from the usual style of gameplay.
While Mario and Sonic set the standard for 2D platforming, Ristar focuses less on speed on jumping and more on his unique ability.
As Ristar traverses each stage, gamers will be able to use his stretching arms to deal with all manner of obstacles. Ristar will even grab enemies and pull them towards him, ending their existence with a single move.
This would be a headbutt, and combining this with the power of a star, it does make me wonder, where do the enemies actually go?
Now Ristar's arms aren't just for attacking enemies, they can also be used as a way to get to certain parts of the stages that would otherwise be out of reach for other platforming characters. And throughout the stages there are a number of star handles that when grabbed will allow Ristar to launch himself high into the sky.
If enough speed is obtained, Ristar becomes an invincible force of power that have enemies running for their lives. When released, Ristar was met positively by gamers and critics, but sadly was overshadowed by the release of the Sega Saturn.
Despite being a great game to play, it does feel like Ristar should have been released years earlier, going toe to toe with both Sonic and Mario.
Eventually, Ristar started to gain a bit of a following with retro gamers, and even appeared on the Sonic Mega Collection.
Overall, Ristar is a fun game to play that changes up the gameplay of a typical side-scrolling platformer. The game mechanic of grabbing enemies and items doesn't slow gameplay down in the slightest. Instead, gamers are treated to a complex platformer that rewards gamers with a great experience while playing. It's easy to see why Ristar has gained a following over the years. Despite Sega stating there would never be a sequel to Ristar, gamers have been taken by surprise before. Perhaps in the future, Ristar will return to the world of gaming with a sequel that would expand the universe and maybe a brief visit to the planet of Mobius to help Sonic deal with a new threat.
Anyway, come back next time where fighters from all over the world compete for fame and glory. But who exactly are the J6 Syndicate? Thank you so much for watching, and see you next game.
You